Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of What's Your Next, the show that helps you explore business ownership as a next without having to start from scratch. I'm Stacy Riska, your lifestyle and franchise matchmaker, here to help you do what you love and love what you do. If you're craving work with purpose, flexibility, and impact, today's topic is for you. My featured guest is Betsy Miller, founder of To Be Organized. And that's the number 2, the letter B, organized. To Be Organized, a professional organizing franchise that's built around helping people regain control of their homes, their time, and honestly, their lives.
Welcome to What's Your Next. This is the go-to podcast for aspiring business owners who want to get to the next level, escape the rat race, and give their middle finger to the corporate 9-to-5. If you want financial freedom, work-life balance, and the business of your dreams, you're in the right place. Dave and Stacy Riska, husband-wife franchising duo, openly share their successes, failures, and lessons learned in franchising, business ownership, and working with your spouse.
What started as a simple service has grown into a powerful business model that combines meaning, structure, and opportunity. In this episode, we're talking about how To Be Organized came to be, who it's a great fit for, and what business ownership can look like when it's aligned with lifestyle and not hustle culture. So if you've ever thought about, hey, I want to help people, but I also want a business on my own terms, this conversation is for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to the show, Betsy.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I am excited for our conversation today because I love talking to founders, So let's start at the beginning. Let's back up a little bit because usually there's an aha moment or seeing the need of pain or an opportunity. Take us back, like what was happening in your life where the idea of To Be Organized came to fruition?
Oh my goodness. Well, it goes a long way back. Let me just tell you that. I'll try to keep it short. It started when I was 3, and I was the first grandchild on my mom's side. And so I was the apple of their eye, and they were having a party, and the ladies were helping my grandmother put things away and clean up the kitchen. And I was in there, and my grandmother had happened to walk out of the room. And I marched in there with my hands on my hips and my little blonde pigtails and said in a tiny little voice, they're putting things, I mean, I didn't say it like this, but they're putting things away where they don't belong, and they won't listen to me because I'm little. And so she took my hand and we went in the kitchen. She said, let me tell you something. If Betsy says something goes somewhere, that's where it goes. She set up this whole situation. So that was the first thing. So I was always organized. I was always the friend that people called that said, can you come help me clean out my closet? Or, how would you structure this situation? Or, just whatever. Never even dawned on me this was a career. It
Wow.
wasn't it wasn't a career. It wasn't a thing. So fast forward in 1997, I was in my late 20s. Oh gosh, back in the day when I had more, you know, collagen, I guess that is. I was in a job I did not like. I liked the people, hated the job,
Mhm.
but I had to make money. I had a mortgage, right? So, but I really did have that aha moment. What can I do that I'm good at, but still earn a living? Well,
Mhm.
this is 97. There was no social media. There was no professional organizing. I mean, I feel like I think I was one of the original people, right? I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know how I was really going to help people, make it a business, all those things. But I just did it. I just dove in and I did it. And I educated people and I expanded my services and I became their person and I honed my craft and I read. And, back at that time, I took magazines like, Southern Living and, um, you know, getting ideas about decor, and every once in a while there'd be an organizing article in there and I'd, pour over that. So, and then fast forward, I built a very successful local business and started the franchise process. So that's my story.
Wow. And a business started at age 3. And so you've only been doing it for 3 years. Come on. You've been,
Correct. Yes, 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 exactly.
you are the true definition of combining passion and purpose and now having a business that others can emulate and duplicate to make profits and live the life that you're living. Let's talk a little bit about the business because the name might kind of insinuate some ideas in your head to be organized. And I meet with a lot of franchise concepts, and I've never met one that does what you do. So, talk a little bit about the business. What do you do? Who do you serve? How are you helping people get organized?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, to be organized came the name itself is pretty much everybody calls you and says, I want to be organized.
Right.
So that's kind of where it came from. I did the two and the B, just, little marketing strategy, I guess, if you will. What do we do? It's very difficult to really define what we do in a day. It's different every single day. We offer so many services. I think I told you when we first met, I'm an underpaid therapist. Um, it's, I think for us and this company and to be organized, we truly love helping people. We want to find their pain point, whether it's really just a decluttering situation or, are you moving? Are you, is it a lifestyle change? We help a lot of clients in the senior transition arena. So, what does that look like? Typically those projects are multifaceted because we're working with families generally as well, because usually that's a family decision. Sometimes we're working with children of older clients that hire us from out of state. So there's a level of communication that has to happen with them out of town and you being kind of boots on the ground. Our company is just so much more than pretty bins and baskets.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, any organizer is going to say they love those things, and we certainly do, but it really goes beyond that component. It's helping people where they are, again, are they empty nesters? Are they moms with littles that have 18 tricycles in the garage and they can't park? And then, we really expand on it. We really bring in professional partners in each local market that really complement our business, whether that's a California Closets or, yeah, or, local realtors. We help with staging. Obviously, homes that are staged and decluttered sell faster and for more money. I mean, that's a known statistic. Um, and we really try to help people honor their things. I'm not a believer in putting things in a box labeled keepsake and putting it in your basement, never to be seen again. Um, I'll use my own home as an example. I had the luxury a couple of years ago to build a custom home, and I have an area in my hallway that I get to enjoy every single day that highlights every quilt my grannies and my grandmothers made.
Oh,
So again, and what I tell clients is, you may not have that particular opportunity in your own space, but let's find a way to honor the things in your life. And so anyway, that's a little kind of snippet about to be organized. I think there's so much more to it. I could talk all day about it.
and everything you were saying, I had my checklist here. I'm like, yeah, because as I shared with you pre-show, we just bought a house. We're going to be moving. We're in a current house, and it's like who is the to be organized franchisee in my area? I need this service.
I think I need like the Batmobile just to come down and pull up in front of your house and get
Right,
to work.
right.
Yes.
Your client for sure. Let's dive then a little bit deeper into the why. Because when I work with candidates who are thinking about business ownership, this is where I spend a lot of time. Because if I'm going to help them find the business that's the perfect match for them, I need to understand their why. Why do they ultimately want to own a business? And for many of them, it revolves around lifestyle, or even some of the things you were saying, like wanting to spend more time with your kids, etc. But for to be organized, what is the why behind that? Like, is it to help people declutter, be less stressed, enjoy what they have? Like, what is the why behind your business?
Well, you just touched all of those things. I mean, every client is different. So I think part of the training is that we talk a lot about knowing your audience and knowing who you're dealing with. And so the why behind us is really the why behind the client. What is it they're needing? Well, I'm not saying we're a perfect fit for everybody. We may not be, but our job is to find out what it is they need and adapt and come up with solutions for them. So um, I think a lot of what we do is, again, help identify the things that are meaningful and let the rest go. That's our approach. The very first thing we ever do on any project is purge. Very, very
Oh,
first thing. That is part of our process. We are not interested in just putting all of your stuff in a tote and putting a pretty label on it.
yeah.
We are really interested in going a little deeper and having you identify and see the things in your home. I can't tell you how many times franchise owners have called me or, done a group chat or whatever and said, we've opened some boxes today and the overwhelming reply was, I didn't even know I had that anymore. I don't even know what that is. I've never seen that. So I think the why for us is really helping people declutter in a meaningful way. And then, like I said earlier, then honoring and making your home, home is safe space, right?
Yeah.
Making your home really reflect who you are. And listen, if that means pretty baskets, we're all about it. Don't get me wrong, but really just knowing what you have, how to find it quickly, saving you money by not having to buy duplicates and not know what you have. I think there's just so much more to organizing.
Yeah, and I can see the value of bringing in this third party because maybe there's a spouse or a parent or a child. You're trying to do this on your own and you're looking at the magazines of staged homes that look beautiful and you think you can do it yourself. But right, when you open the box and realize, like it can be hard to decide what to do and what pile it goes in. So having this third party is really valuable. So let's then
Yeah.
talk about who makes a good business owner because you've taken a concept that you've proven. Now you've brought on some franchisees and you're duplicating it across the country. Who does make a good franchisee, but also who doesn't? Like who might not do well in this type of business?
Oh, that's a great question. I think we always learn from the things we don't want rather than what we do. So I think that's a great question. Let's see. Let me try to unpack that. I think you definitely do have to have an eye for this kind of thing and a knack, if you will. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect at it, but I do think there is a trait, a characteristic in your brain that kind of goes to the aesthetics and the look of a home or a space or business, right? It's not completely necessary, but I do want to have that scope somewhat. Definitely business acumen, somebody who wants to grow a location, that understands the financials of how to run a business. It's a low overhead. It's not a super complicated business. So I'm not talking about being able to, do a deep dive into a full on, audit accounting system.
Yeah.
And of course, we set up everything for you, CRMs and all that kind of stuff. I think you have to have some skill in marketing. I think if people really wanted to be honest about what a franchise is, whether it's with To Be Organized or if it's, a restaurant or whatever it is, it's a sales position,
Mhm.
right? You have to have sales. Now, listen, I'm not asking anybody to be great at sales for aluminum siding, right? You're coming into an organizing company. So clearly you have to have some passion about it. And I think it's easy to sell when you're passionate about it.
Right.
So I think you have to have that characteristic for sure. What am I not looking for? I'm not looking for anyone who isn't coachable. I mean that, and people will tell you, "Oh, I'm totally coachable." Well, okay. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic when you have conversations with potential franchise owners. But I definitely think coachable, somebody who wants to follow the system and doesn't go rogue. The
Yeah.
system works. I know it. I stand behind it 100%. But you got to follow it.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to go rogue, meaning if you see an idea or you see a solution, bring it to the team, bring it to me,
Mhm.
and let's implement it. Because one of the things about a franchise too is you want continuity,
Yeah.
right? You want whether it's a client in Austin or a client in um, Denver, you want them to have generally the same experience and the same outcome, right? I know we're dealing with people, so that's not always going to be the case, but the process should be the same. I hope that
Absolutely.
answers your question. I don't know.
Yeah, you were very clear. So let's talk about, like, do you have a story of somebody who became a franchisee? What was their life before? Like, were they working? Were they a stay-at-home mom? Talk very quickly, kind of give us a 2-minute Reader's Digest version of their story, how they became a franchisee and what they're doing now.
They're all different.
Oh,
And I think that's great. I have one that was previously, before she had kids, she was an engineer.
oh my gosh.
I I have stay-at-home moms who worked professionally, stayed home, went back to work after the kids were in school. I have a couple of franchise owners that are don't have kids at home. They are just great at it, wanted a business to run on their own, did not want to clock in, clock out.
Yeah,
So really they're all very different, and we have different age ranges too. So I think that's great. Every year brings a little more experience, as we both know.
yeah.
So I think they really range in, mid 20s to on up. I'm not going to put a cap on it. Otherwise I might not make the cut. So I think they really are a very diverse group, if you will.
Okay, and that's great. I find that a franchise system that has a diverse group of franchisees actually grows a lot stronger together because so many different ideas and backgrounds. And I would imagine even like the demographics of the constituents that you serve in different areas might impact how you locally decide to grow and market your business.
Oh, 1000%. Absolutely. Every market's different. The who's who in every market is different, and how you approach them and how you market to them. And I mean, obviously we have a system in place, but when it comes down to local marketing, that's up to the franchisee,
Okay.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
we provide all the tools, but you're the face.
Wonderful. Which leads into my next question. So, people who are looking at business ownership, they all kind of tell me the same thing. I want flexibility. I want something that has meaning and purpose. I want to be able to make an income to support myself and my family, right? I don't want another burnout job. So, how does your franchise then support franchisees in achieving that goal?
Well, gosh, so many things really. I mean, obviously the flexibility. I will tell you that generally speaking, our hours are 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. typically,
Okay.
because we model our business around 3-hour sessions.
Okay.
So we try to do 2 sessions a day. Now that doesn't mean if we're moving someone or doing a transition or something like that, those are, all hands on deck, long days, right?
Yeah.
But generally speaking, with our regular, pretty straightforward services, it is very flexible for, a 9 to 3 situation. You're not working weekends unless you so choose. And if you have a great client and you want to do that, more power to you. Um, I think obviously my franchise is no different than anyone else's either in terms of what you get. I guess, the marketing tools, all the things, all the processes. I think what sets me apart is my experience, obviously. I've been doing this for over 30 years.
Mhm.
I did it when there was, like I told you earlier, there was no social media, there was no process, there was no chat GPT.
Right.
Um, I did it. I did it all. I learned by trial and error. And I think that's the beauty of the franchise model too, is that really it's not everything that you're getting necessarily on the positive, which is a lot of positive stuff, but you're getting to learn from all the negative stuff I already went through, right? And all the mistakes I already made in terms of I know who to market to. I know who your target market is. I know where to put your marketing spend.
Mhm.
I can tell you how to deal with a fussy client. You don't have to make all those mistakes by yourself on your own. I think that's valuable, very valuable.
You nailed it. And that's why I said in the beginning, a business that you don't have to start from scratch.
Yes.
And especially in this type of business, because somebody may be sitting at home thinking, gosh, I could help somebody get organized and I could do what Betsy's doing. Yeah, but can you? Do you
But
have the
can you?
tool, the
Right.
technology? Did
Right.
you go to the School of Hard Knocks and get an MBA like Betsy did?
Exactly. Exactly. I want to touch on that point just a little bit. I will say, from a franchise and a business perspective, all of the assets and all of the time, talent, and treasure that has gone into to be organized is it's hard, from a competition standpoint, I guess, if you will, to your point about, Sally Organizer is who I call her. And hey, that's great. I'm not dissing her. I'm just saying, from a professional standpoint, I think going with someone like us, as opposed to somebody, to your point, who really doesn't have all the systems in place, they don't have all the experience, they may just go, hey, I could do this on my own. Do they even have insurance? Are they even insured? I mean, this is a real business. This is this is the livelihood of many of my franchisees. So again, good luck to them, but we're at a different level, if you will.
Right. And I've been to your website. It is so impressive. And
Thank you.
you just see the professionalism. And I would imagine that filters through to the customer experience that somebody has, to getting reviews, to them sharing it on social media, so proud of their,
Yes.
organized, happy life. So yes,
Yes.
you're building a story for somebody, and
Yes.
literally changing lives.
That's the most rewarding part, honestly. There have been times I've moved clients. I know, my franchisees feel the exact same way. I love it when a franchisee texts me a screenshot of of communication they've had with their client that says, I couldn't have done this move without you, or thank you for making my pantry, a positive impact on our family. And we're getting out the door quicker in the morning because I know where the lunch stuff is. And my kids aren't bugging me all day because they have a designated snack area. And it sounds so simple, but it's just, those things. And it just warms my heart when I know it, because I've lived it. When the franchisees start to feel that reward from their clients and then they share it with me, it is such a win for all of us. It's just, it really does feel great.
Amazing. And Betsy, it's so powerful that you're still actively involved in the business, right? And so a lot of the brands, the owner kind of steps away, and you can tell in those kind of franchises. Your heart, your passion is still in it. And I see and feel your commitment to the
Aw,
business, but also to your franchisees. So,
thank you.
kudos to you.
Thank you.
I know my audience is clamoring. Come on, Stacy, get her. What? How can I learn more? So, Betsy, please share with the audience. How can people reach out, learn more about To Be Organized, your process of becoming a franchisee, and just get more information?
Sure. I mean, just really simple. Go to the website. Obviously, I'm sure you'll share that.
Yeah,
I mean, people can call me, text me. I don't care. Email. We do have, a click through on the website. Become a franchise owner. It kind of takes you through the process. But to your point, I'm really still very much involved. I may call you. I may want to talk to you. And I mean, we can take it from there. There's a lot of processes in place, a lot of questions that are asked, a lot of information shared back and forth. Listen, I'm interviewing you as much as you're interviewing me,
right.
right?
That's right.
We've got to work together, and I don't. I'm not interested in trying to outdo my competition, or if you're going to get into kind of one of those tit for tats, if you will. You want to join my team? Let's go. I want decision makers. I want people who are ready to really get started. I think you can think on a decision as long as you want to, and not, come up with a solution and keep punting it. I think that's a mistake. You want to do it? Let's go. I can help you. So yeah, just go to the website or contact you or send a honing pigeon over my house, whatever you got to do.
There you go. Straight from Betsy. Take action. Hashtag action.
Yes.
All right. So definitely, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you vet and determine if this might be a good fit for you, introduce you to Betsy, or feel free to go to her contact information, which is shared below. Betsy, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing To Be Organized, an amazing business that is emerging, growing, and taking the USA by storm. But I have to ask, since the name of this podcast is What's Your Next? And I can't imagine what the answer to this question is going to be. But Betsy, what's your next?
My goodness. Well, what's my next in the next 20 minutes? Cocktail hour.
Okay,
And
I can.
mhm. And my next, in terms of To Be Organized, I bringing on new franchisees, partners in this business. I can help you grow, you can help me grow, and really I'm looking for quality over quantity.
Love that. Yes, thank you for sharing that. Quality over quantity. Wonderful. Betsy, thank you so much for joining me today and the audience and sharing your backstory, this amazing business you've built To Be Organized, and sharing with the audience how they can reach out and stay connected with you. Thanks,
Well,
everyone. Go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. I just was going to say I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much, Miss Stacy.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody for joining us today for another episode of What's Your Next? We'll see you again next time. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.